Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It is ICR Daredevil, and we are back with some AEW. AEW. We're coming off of All Out 2020, where a lot of crazy stuff happened. Um, yeah, a lot of crazy stuff happened. All the titles got retained, but we had, some really great matches for the series and all that stuff. So we have our first Dynamite after All Out. And I don't know if this episode's going to go up before the WCW ones I recorded the other day, but we're going to be doing a slight change. And I'll mention it in this because, again, I don't know if it's going to go up before those or not. With this game, when you're doing the preparations to start booking your shows, you do get to look at some pre-stuff. And so I figured it would be kind of cool if I started highlighting those in videos, as long as they didn't take forever. So we're going to be doing that here today. We're going to be doing that and kind of seeing what ends up happening, kind of seeing, like, if, don't mind the clicking, if we get anything crazy that might show up or anything like that, because, we've had some interesting ones in the past. So we're going to do this here, booking meeting. We gained 60 creative points. I need to turn on the thing. I disabled it at first because Tony Khan didn't have enough. I hadn't had enough at the time over, but I need to turn that on now because we've got enough to be able to cover those shows. So, locker room incidents. Let's see what happens. Matt Marquis. Matt Marquis, after being used last week on Dynamite, wants to know if we can use him tonight as well. I mean, he did a good job for us, honestly. Like, he was pretty good in that match with Miro. He had a 49, so that's not terrible. I don't know if I have a spot for him tonight, though. So, unfortunately, there's not a spot for you. Backstage rumor mill has been in overdrive after Jonathan Fatu and Jungle Boy apparently got into a heated argument. Great. God damn it. Sarah Del Rey ran some basic and safety training for 10 students. And Jerry Lynn ran some for 3. And that was a pretty awful session. So I gotta check this and see if maybe something happened with Jerry Lynn, because he did this session before dark as well, and we had the same issue. So I don't know if he suddenly is not good at it. Like, I don't know if maybe one of his stats regressed a little bit and he's suddenly not good at doing the training, but I'm gonna have to figure that out. But there you go, there's that. Let's do some team bonding, because why not? We strengthened the relationship between Tyler Black and Miro, and Tyler Black and Pac. So there's that. Or Pac, that is. So there you go. There's that. We will see you in just a second for Dynamite. Alrighty, it is time for Dynamite in front of 5,034 people at the UNF Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. We start off with MJ. Why did I say that? With Jay Lethal, that is, coming out to the ring. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, Jay Lethal comes out to the ring. There is balloons coming down from the ceiling because he is celebrating. He says he is sitting great right now. He defeated a man who supposedly is one of the best in the business right now, and he's doing great. He's not even worried about the new number 1 in the rankings, Kenny Omega. He could take care of Omega easily, and that's if he doesn't just let Adam Cole beat him down and send him packing, because it is great to be Jay Lethal, the AEW World Champion right now. So, Lethal kind of spoiled it a little bit, but we have new rankings out. The world title rankings, as they sit, Kenny Omega sits at the number 1 spot. Miro moved up to number 2. Jon Moxley fell to number 3 after, losing the match at All Out, but he's still technically in the top 5. Mostly just because of the way the system plays out, even, but he did lose a couple spots before losing the title match. Cody Rhodes sits at number 4, and entering the top 5, Tyler Black. Tyler Black is now in the top 5. We'll go through the rest of them really quick. Women's side, Mostly unchanged, or at least for sure the top three are unchanged. Mercedes is still number one. She did beat Mayu Iwatani at All Out, so of course she's still going to stay at the top there. The Bunny is still number two, being the former Women's World Champion. But that could change because here later tonight, she's actually going to be taking on Riho. We're going to have the Bunny versus Riho happening here on Dynamite tonight. In what's going to be our semi-main event, because the main event will be mentioned here in a second. Tennille Dashwood's still number three after the good showing in the Casino Battle Royale. Kaylee Ray actually enters at number four after winning that Casino Battle Royale and getting a guaranteed title shot somewhere between now and 6 months from now, I think I said it was. 7 months from now, I mean. Between now and Revolution. And then Kairi Hojo, fresh off of the big victory over Divina at All Out, is number five. And on the tag team side of things, the Lucha Bros are still the number one contenders as of right now. In fact, it didn't really change too much with the tag rankings. The only thing that changed, so the Lucha Bros are still number one, Dark Order is still number two, the Thrill Seekers are still number three. But 4 and 5 switched because on Dark this past Monday, Best Friends actually lost a match to Private Party. So Private Party actually jumped them and is number 4, and Best Friends are number 5. The reason I say that the Bunny and Riho match is a semi-main is because the main event tonight is actually officially a number one contenders match for the tag team titles. The Lucha Bros, who had a great match with the Young Bucks at All Out, and in theory kind of barely lost the matchup, is going to be putting they want a rematch, but they have to quote unquote defend their number one spot. So they are going to be taking on the Dark Order, the former tag team champions. So that should be a very good main event as well. We move on from that to our opening contest, which gets a 65 rating, as Johnny Gargano defeats Marty Martinez in non-title action in 756 by submission with Crosstown Crab. The idea being that Gargano, the International Championship wasn't put on the line because Marty Martinez has kind of fallen so much at this point that like it would have been more of like he has to kind of prove himself against a champion first in order to get a title shot. 65 rating for the match, that was pretty good. 69 from Gargano, 46 from Martinez. They actually have great chemistry, so that's interesting. But Gargano gets the win after successfully defending the title at All Out against Frankie Kazarian. We'll have to see who's next for Johnny Gargano in that International Championship. Then after that, Thunder Rock are in tag team action. We actually have 3 women's matches on this show tonight, which is kind of crazy. Thunder Rock is in tag team action, and they defeat the Spoiled Brats in 922 when Io Shirai pinned Aria Blake with a Magica de Io. 60 rating for the match. Nice. 65 from Mayu Iwatani, 59 from Io Shirai, 40 from Selena De La Renta, and 33 from Aria Blake. So, Mayu Iwatani, despite losing to Mercedes at All Out, is able to bounce back, and the tag team of Thunder Rock, is able to get the victory here tonight, and kind of, try to get things back on track for 3 Elite at this point, or at least for the other 2 members of 3 Elite. Obviously, Kairi has a good amount of momentum right now for her. Speaking of 3 Elite, after this, Mercedes is standing by backstage with a kind of a smirk on her face. It's only got a 61 and a lost heat for the storyline. That's kind of crazy. She says that's now 2 of 3. 2 members of 3 Elite that was defeated by her. She defeated Io Shirai one-on-one months ago at this point on Dynamite, which, to be fair, I probably could run that match back again in the future, but for now we're, playing it off as this. And now she's defeated Mayu Iwatani one-on-one. She says that just leaves the one who defeated her, Kairi Hojo. She doesn't care that she's considered the number one contender for the Women's World title right now because she needs to beat Kairi first. She can't allow herself to fight for that Women's World Championship until she defeats Kairi and proves that she's better than her. So she doesn't care how long she needs to wait for that rematch. She will teach Kairi once and for all who's truly the boss. So, interestingly enough, A, Davina's not even here, and B, Mercedes doesn't even mention anything about Davina being here. This is part of a character development or character storyline thing that I'm going to have going on. But yeah, so Mercedes is focused on facing Kairi, getting the win back against her. She feels like, she lost to Kairi earlier this year, and now she feels like she has to beat her before she can challenge for the Women's World Championship. And we get a 60 rated match as MJF. This is part of the reason why I mentioned him earlier, because I was looking ahead of my notes. Defeats Mike Sydal in 531 by submission with a Salt of the Earth. This was basically just squash. It was basically just MJF being MJF at this point. But he only had a 59 ring performance, and Mike Sydal had a 48. So I mean, I set it up to be kind of a little bit of an easy victory for MJF, but he really wasn't too far off from Mike Sydal's in ring performance. So that's kind of crazy. The match got a 60 though, as MJF getting the victory pretty decisively. Commentators kind of talking a little bit about MJF and Hangman Adam Page's issues as of late, having the issues with each other in the Casino Battle Royale and all that kind of stuff. And there's that. Then after that, yeah, I kind of figured. Scarlett Bordeaux comes out and thanks everyone for continuing to support her. She's excited to be here in Jacksonville again. Before questioning whether Jacksonville was named after Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, which the crowd's like, oh, okay. You gotta get the ditzy thing in. She shrugs it off before saying that it went so well last week, so this week she's issuing another open challenge. Some music that isn't quite recognized hits, and then the crowd pops when they see the name show up on the video screen, because it is the AEW debut of Toni Storm. Toni Storm is here in AEW. She comes to the ring. 37 for this. Match gets a 55 as Toni Storm defeats Scarlett Bordeaux in 749 by pinfall at the Strong Zero. 55, not too bad there. But Toni Storm is here in AEW, and she defeats Scarlett Bordeaux. So there you go. Kind of a big deal there. Toni Storm officially signing a contract with AEW, and we will have to see how things go with her in the future. Of course, in this world, I think, I have to double check and see, but in this world, she was part of NXT UK, but she never made the transition to the main roster. So she was never officially she was never a part of the WWE, main roster. She was part of NXT UK, and then I think she signed exclusively with us. So yeah, so she's coming off of being more of just a pretty known star from NXT UK from her time in Stardom and all that kind of stuff, but she wasn't really she didn't have quite that kind of popularity. So we'll have to see what her run looks like here in AEW. She is coming in as a heel, by the way. She's you can tell by the picture the specific kind of look I'm going for her. She's got a punk gimmick, which you saw get an adequate rating there. So the idea is that she's coming in as kind of like this punk heel kind of character that will be playing out as time goes on here. Then we have a 60 rated segment where Alexis Kaufman, who is still the AEW Women's World Champion after defeating Ashley Lane at All Out, she's walking through the backstage area when it's one of those things where she's walking through the backstage area and then 15, 20 feet in front of her, a door opens up from, just off to the side, and out from that room comes Kaylee Ray, and the two ended up, kind of seeing each other. It's not one of those things where it was planned. Kaylee Ray is I'm going to jump out and surprise you. They didn't realize that they were going to come across each other until that moment. So there's a little bit of an awkward tension almost immediately between the two of them. Kaylee Ray congratulates Kaufman on retaining her championship this past Sunday, and Kaufman congratulates her on winning the Casino Battle Royale. Kaylee Ray talks about how this means that she'll get a shot at that title sometime between now and Revolution. And Alexis says that she looks forward to that match happening. Kaylee Ray says, well, you know what? I look forward to that match happening too. But, of course, that means you have to have the title by the time that match happens. It's kind of a little bit of a teasing shot there. Kind of a little bit of a awkward tension shot there where it's I'm going to be in that, women's world title match when that match happens, but will you be? So, kind of interesting right there. 60 rating. Nice way to start off the storyline that we got going on between these two. Then after that, Thrill Seekers in tag team action, defeat the Bear Country 909 when Trevor Lee pinned Bear Boulder. 61 rating. Nice. This is basically, Thrill Seekers trying to get a little bit of momentum after losing to the Dark Order at All Out. They're trying to get a little bit more momentum, or trying to get back on the winning ways. They are still in the top 5 for the tag titles, so they wanted to kind of keep their spots there, kind of prove that that they can stay alive, so to speak, and get that opportunity. So they get the victory here over Bear Country. Backstage, we see MJF is starting to leave the arena when Andrea Campo catches up to him. I don't know why it didn't advance the storyline. That's weird. It was supposed to. Anyway, she catches up to MJF backstage and asks him about what happened on Sunday. MJF says that Hangman cost him a shot at the world title, and that Redneck Kick will pay for it when the time comes. For now, though, there's ladies waiting for him, and, well, kind of looks Andrea up and down. He says, Andrea, you're not on the level of those ladies anyway. He walks off as Andrea has a bit of a disgusted look on her face. Gets a 49 rating. So MJF says that he's going to make Hangman pay for costing him that world title match, even though he did the same, but whatever. So we'll have to see when they had blocking horns again. That's what I was trying to say for some reason. I couldn't say it. Then we got a 63 rated matchup as we have another debut here in AEW. As Tony Deppen takes a loss to the debuting Roderick Strong, who defeats him in 8:38 by pinfall. The Gibson Driver. 63 rating for the match. 64 from Strong, who has a great rated no gimmick needed gimmick. 49 from Tony Deppen. So yeah, Roderick Strong is here in AEW as well. Him we did steal away from WWE, although in this world he was still down in NXT. It was around the time that the Diamond Mine stuff was happening, and he was a part of that. And then he was just like, they just kept keeping him in NXT. In fact, when I offered him, when I outbid WWE for him, WWE was just offering him a developmental deal. They weren't even offering to put him up on the main roster. But we brought him in. Again, probably not a whole, at this point, I think, especially WWE-wise, there's probably not anybody else we're going to be grabbing from them. Roderick Strong was just one that was on the list because it was like, I really want to get him away from that. I know he can do a lot better, and so I really wanted to get him away from WWE. So if we have any new hires at this point, which to be fair, we have over 100 people on our roster, so we probably won't have a whole lot of new hires. Granted, at least a third of those are handshake people that, it's one of those, like, they work for us and a couple of other indies because they're young talents who are slowly getting over, or they're, a little bit more established veterans who I can use as jobbers at times. Yeah, if we do get if we do have any more other signees, they're going to be people who are going to be from outside of the Fed world, because I don't want to keep stealing all their talent. We want to become the super indie that we are. We want to be the one that's really pushing other talents like that. So, but anyway, yeah, Roderick Strong is here in AEW. He is coming in as a heel as well, so we'll have to see what ends up happening with him. But yeah, 64 is a pretty good in-ring performance-wise. Kind of puts him up in that upper, if I base off of just the in-ring performance part, it kind of puts him up in that upper mid level, which is, good for him. So there's that. Then after that, we have that women's that women's matchup, and Riho actually defeats the Bunny in 13:26 by pinfall of the Kuru Ribbon. This did not do as well as I was hoping, though. Huh. Both women. Huh. Physical condition and then inconsistency from both of them. Interesting. They just had an off night, I guess, because both women are usually better than that. I mean, the Bunny's kind of been dropping off a little bit, so she, this is slightly low for her compared to normal, but not too much lower. But this is definitely like one of the lower performances by Riho in a little while, so that's kind of disappointing. But nevertheless, Riho gets the victory in 13:26 by pinfall of the Kuru Ribbon. She gets the victory over the Bunny. She's able to defeat the Bunny. We'll have to see if this puts an end to the issues between the Dark Order's women and Kylie Ray and Riho or not, but there you go. Big victory for Riho here on Dynamite. And before the main event, we have a 69 rated segment that advances the storyline. As Tyler Black walks into Steven Regal's office with a smirk on his face, he confidently asks Regal for a shot at the AEW World Title. He's like, I defeated El Generico decisively at All Out. I'm in the title rankings. Go ahead and give me that world title match. And I'm still undefeated here and all that stuff too. And Regal's like, well, you must have been dropped on your head a couple times recently. Because yeah, you're undefeated still, but there's a few things wrong with what you just said. One, you're number 5 in the world title rankings. There's 4 other people ahead of you. So really, unless the champion wants to face you specifically, there's 4 other people who would be getting a title shot before you. And on top of that, there's technically 5 other people because Brian Cage won the Casino Battle Royale at All Out, and he can ask for a title shot anytime between now and Revolution as well. He says, and 2, really, decisive is the wrong word to use when it comes to your victory against El Generico. In fact, I'd rather use a different word that starts with a D, more of a debated victory. Because you clearly had to cheat to win the match at All Out. Now, I'm no stranger to cheating to win matches. In the past I was known as kind of a villain in wrestling. But decisive, yeah, I can't say it's decisive. Tyler Black's smirk kind of fades off a little bit, and he looks kind of upset with Regal, kind of correcting him with his statements there, getting in his face a little bit before he leaves the office frustrated, not getting what he wants. So he's not too happy about that. Looks like might have some more to come with Tyler Black and El Generico. And then our main event gets a 78 rating. Hell yeah. As in about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, the Lucha Bros defeat the Dark Order in 13:39 when Penta El Zeta M pinned Evil Uno with a Pentagon Driver. Penta was head and shoulders above everyone. He had an 80 in ring performance. Good God. Evil Uno was a weak link. He had a 55. But there you go. So Lucha Bros staying the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. And means that we could be seeing a rematch between the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks in the near future for those tag team titles. We'll have to see how that ends up playing out. Dynamite gets 76 rating. Increased our popularity in 53 regions. The show benefited from having quite a wide selection of angles. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder if that's exclusive to this game or not. Because obviously I haven't seen that before in the previous game. So I wonder if that's like, I also wonder if that's exclusive to our product or something as well. Because like I haven't seen that pop up in any of the other TW9 stuff I've done so far. Interesting. Well, we benefited from having a wide selection of angles apparently. We made $185,000 on the night. Awesome. Popularity. Hell yeah. Look at all that popularity going up. Everywhere except for India because we have no coverage in India. It went up at least part of a point. And 4 regions in America, we actually went up a full point. We went up 1 point in the Midwest, 1 point in the New England and Northwest regions, and 1 point in the Southeast. Wow, that's even cooler that we went up a full point in the Southeast because, of course, Southeast is where we're located at. So that is pretty cool there. I'll take that. But yeah, there's Dynamite. Kind of had to. I mean, the tag match was a really good main event, but the reason why you didn't see some other people on the show is because we had kind of had to rest some people a little bit. And because I wanted, I had a couple of the debuts that I wanted to do. I wanted to have Tony Storm and Roderick Strong debut. Officially, I have Roderick Strong available from before All Out, and he's actually irritated right now because he wasn't on All Out. So that kind of bit me in the butt a little bit. But I didn't want to debut him before All Out because I wanted it to be kind of more of a surprise on the first Dynamite after All Out. Yeah, there's that. Also, I did look into it, and I've also slightly upset somebody because of it, but I paid them off, so it's fine. So I mentioned that Jerry Lynn's training was an awful session with a couple of people. I don't know what happened. I haven't actually like looked into it to figure out what happened, but for some reason Jerry Lynn's safety went down a little bit, and so he wasn't considered his safety skill wasn't considered high enough to actually be a trainee, like actually train people anymore. So I was gonna constantly have that issue with it being awful stuff if I didn't switch him out. So I switched him out. We now have um, D. Malenko doing our training. So Jerry Lynn was not too happy about it, but it was what it was. I'm gonna have to look into it. I don't know because normally your safety doesn't really go down, even if you're declining or anything like that. So I don't know what happened there, but there's that. Hey, look at that. We're the number one story. Feedback has been great, drawn a lot of praise. 1.8, almost 1.9 million people watching Dynamite this week. That's awesome. NXT had 1.1 million. They had a 64 rated show. Saw Matt Riddle defeat Tommaso Ciampa and Fabian Eichner to retain the North American Championship. NXT UK had their show. Mark Andrews defeated Pete Dunne to retain the United Kingdom Championship. So yeah, there's that. Anything else here? Keith Lee is dating Jesse Elbon. All right. I mean, I guess that works. To be fair, we have Mia Yim in AEW, so it would have been like they would have been on different shows, which slight bit of a I don't want to say annoyance, but a slight bit of a thing with TEW still, even with the new game, is that it feels like relationships only happen if two people are working for the same company, and like, yeah, 95% of the time that can happen, but like, there's also things where you can meet someone outside of a wrestling show, or maybe somebody is backstage at a wrestling show. If not that it would have happened in this, but like if Keith Lee had been backstage at an AEW show and, they started hanging out and met up, that kind of thing. But it seems like any relationship that gets set up, it's like they have to be working for the same company at the same time, which, like I said, that's most of the time that would be what would happen, but you can meet, you can end up not being contracted by the same company and end up meeting up and all that, but that's whatever. It's whatever. Rise is still running shows at this point. I don't know why I guess they just weren't shown on CZW Studios, so I'm guessing they're just like doing a thing there. Billy Stark's working on the show, so there's that. I think I have her on my short list. Somebody keep an eye on. Ty Conti. Wait a minute. Why is Ty Conti available? There's a chance that Ty Conti might. There was a chance that there might be two Ty Contis in this. Because last I knew, Ty Conti was still working for NXT. That's weird. Actually, let me check and see. Because she probably would have been set up with the job history of that if it was. Yeah. Or maybe she didn't. Maybe this is before, or maybe this is after. I don't know. Not that I necessarily am looking to bring her in right now, although, a 40 in ring performance at an indie show means that should be pretty good for us, but no, that's the only one. I don't know why it doesn't. All right. I mean, her popularity's not there, but, stat wise, she's good enough to pull off a 40 at a indie show, so there's that. The shortlist her. Maybe I'll kind of look into her a little bit there. Yeah, as you see, Darby Allin has a little bit of morale issues because he wasn't on All Out, but I don't care. Darby's kind of a little bit of a jobber for us at this point anyway. But yeah, like I mentioned, we have 113 people on our roster, so we're going to be having to deal with that. We are third in the world right now, so that's pretty cool too. Look at that really quick. Yeah, we're behind just WWE and New Japan at this point. WWE is actually medium-sized with us. NXT is number 4, despite being it small. That's kind of interesting. But anyway, is there anything else there? Titus O'Neil has joined Evolve. Okay. I don't know what you're going to be doing in Evolve, but sure, they're going to pay you to work there, I guess. Nicely done. Bonnie with Morgan Webster. Couple people leaving MLW, including somebody who doesn't have a picture. All right, so yeah, that's really it. I don't really think there was anything else like crazy news wise. Oh yeah, we also did have like we also had 3 deaths already. I don't remember if I brought that up, but yeah, I brought that up in the All Out thing. I don't know if there's anything like any other crazy news stories that happened here. Yeah, so we demoted Jerry Lynn and promoted Dean Malenko. Jonathan Fatu got hired on by PWG, so, you know, good for him. He's still with us, don't get me wrong, but he's because he's on a handshake deal, so we'll see if he gets better with working there as well. Oh yeah, Jake Lee got hired on it to an exclusive deal with New Japan in this, so there's that. Yeah, not really much else of note. So those two got worse with each other. So yeah, there's that. There's Dynamite this week. Successful Dynamite after All Out, keeping the momentum alive, gaining some popularity. Can't go wrong with that. So feels like AEW is definitely on a roll right now. We're definitely we're moving. We're getting places, getting where we need to get to, and we'll have to see how things continue to play out. But thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And we will catch you in the next video.